It's Visual Journal Friday. If you'd like to know more about visual journaling, what it is, how it's different than keeping a regular sketchbook, how I use it with my students, how I think it could be helpful for you as an artist to grow, then check out my more in-depth description in episode 1 of the Visual Journal Friday series. Also, you can check out my blog post where I go into a lot of detail about it. I will have that link in the description below. Hello. This week's Visual Journal Friday is something I would highly encourage you to do with an artist friend. If you have an artist friend, it's a tiny tradable. Have you ever thought about sharing a visual journal with a friend? Passing it back and forth week after week. You could even have two, and one person has one book and the other has the other, and when you trade, nobody's ever without a book, and then you each have one in the end to keep. That's what I did with a friend of mine, and this is the result, and we're going to look through it today. All right, let's get going. This was a book that I was doing as a partnership, sort of a pen pal program, along with an art teacher at another high school in our county, my friend Liz Weasel. She's an amazing artist, and I look up to her for a lot of reasons with her art and the things that she produces. And we together were passing this book back and forth for the entire school year, sharing it, as well as a second book. So when she had this book, I had the other book. And then we would trade back and forth week after week. And then I kept this one, and she kept the other one. And I would love to show you that one too, but she switched schools, and it didn't make the move with her, unfortunately. So we're not sure where that book is anymore. But this one has some great stuff in it. So we'll start with the front cover. This is just a sticker that was put on there originally when I first got the book. It's been sort of decoupaged with some of that cheap school paper towel that I use quite a bit in my swipes. Then there's a lacy ribbon underneath. There's the ripped off edge of a notebook paper. Got some paint, sort of emphasizing some things. So yeah, that's the cover. This is a paper that was given along with the book because this book was part of a program by this organization, Tetrad, that was promoting the idea of Tiny Tradable Sketchbooks is what I ended up calling them. And we did in the county, Liz, Robert and I, another high school art teacher, we all bought books for our students and traded them back and forth. So not only were we as teachers doing it, but the students were trading as well. It was really fun. So there's just some more, I don't know, that's little bedazzling stickers. Courtney Holscher, date started November 8th, 2015. And retired Liz Weasel, and she didn't put the date. So we'll start with this page. I can tell you that these drawings developed over time. Liz drew both of the faces, then the color was added. I believe I added some of the washes, and then it looks like that's her cross-hatching. I can sort of pick out our different styles, but my memory fails me with some of the embellishments. So that, and then one of us cut out the glass holes and made more faces on the other side. And then little bedazzling stickers there. She drew both of those as well. She must have initiated this book, and then I sort of added some washes, because the first 4 pages, that's all her drawings. But I'm sure that I helped with some of the embellishments here. Now, this says Nayeli, and I could say that these lines, the dark black outlines, were her doodle. And 2015, she was 3. So 3-year-old doodles that then it looks like Liz made into a lady and a cat, which that takes some imagination to come up with something from some scribbles. And then I think I put the wall back there with the stripes. Then she had Maddie do the same thing. She has a daughter. Her daughter was born the day after my daughter. We were in the hospital at the same time, like 2 rooms down from each other. It was pretty cool. And she made this black, what do you call that, scratchboard page. And if you've never done that, it's pretty easy to do. You just coat the page with crayon or something waxy, and then you try to get some paint to stick on top of it. India ink works well. And then someone scratches into it. And I'm pretty sure, I don't feel like I did any of that, but maybe I know that's her face. So this was a scribble by Maddie in orange crayon that I then made into this person. And then she drew lollipops on top. More scribbles. And then it was made into a fish and some feathers added. This multimedia stuff was definitely me. See, isn't she good? She painted that. She was just getting into painting as her thing at the time, and she's come so, I mean, that's amazing, but she's doing really awesome pet portraits now. Like, you hear pet portraits and you don't even know. Like, I will have to put her Instagram on here if she will allow me, because dang, they're amazing. And this is just a piece of paper towel that I was wiping a brush on when I was painting, and I thought it was pretty, so I put it in there. Another scratchboard effort back there. A note from her. She says, I got in the weirdest argument with Santa Claus today, the guy with the beard who sold us our tree, about if Frank Sinatra was dead or not. It got heated. My kids kept giving me looks out of the car window because it might be wrecking Christmas. She's also super funny. So there's some glued in pages from a science book. I drew this panda and probably the O and the stickers. She definitely cut out that dog. I did the pattern and picked out some text. A very close-up moment before all help is used simply by turning in. Yeah. All right, and then, wow, it's crazy how I don't remember who did what. This feels like me, and the rainbow feels like me, but I think the city is her. I put that in there, but maybe she drew I put the skeleton in there, which is just a Xerox thing, and then she put the measurements on it and also the tan skin buff figure. And she says, well, now I'm just naked. And I believe she drew the bubbles. I drew both of those. This is referenced from the Sketchy app, which is only available in iPads and iPhones. You should check it out. People give you their selfies and you draw them and then you upload them and they go crazy about your artistic talent and are very appreciative. And it's free visual reference. Liz drew this. People don't change, they just become who they are meant to be. And I don't know that I messed with it because it was so lovely. I did these circles, a basic watercolor mixing practice. And maybe I did these swatches too, I can't remember. This is definitely, those are her eyes and her lips, yeah. But I did the hair. And then I drew that. I didn't draw that, she drew that. Sorry, you probably don't even care who drew what, but I'm just trying to, I can't believe I can't remember. This is hers. Sometimes I get pancakes for dinner, yay! And she says Smokey's footprints here. That's her cat, I guess. One of her cats. This says Lederhosen. A portrait of Wolfie and his G-Ma. We still have them. They are hanging in Liam and Nayeli's closet. What should we do with 40-year-old Lederhosen? So I wrote that about my husband, actually. It's true. And this is definitely out of a magazine. That's not Wolf and his grandma. But we have leather Lederhosen that could fit a 3-year-old in my daughter's closet. This says, I have my mom's from when she was 20. I say we wear them out together. It will be a thing. And then I said, they wouldn't even fit Liam now. Sad face. All right. Next page. The worm and the fish. And I drew some of this, but I don't remember. And it says, I don't know where I went wrong. And the fish says, he just never had enough nice things to say. And then I drew these people with the same text dialogue. She colored that. I drew them, she colored it. And those are my school pictures that I drew on because I thought it would be fun. I said last year's picture, one of my eyebrows is a lot higher than the other. Natural color up top, bleached ends. And this says excessively dark dye job. I don't even know how old this one is. It might be from, and then it's covered up. Stuff about my picture. Then she said, oh, you silly girl, don't you know how lovely you are? And so then I said, no, she says, is it easier to appreciate your own beauty when someone else wears it? And I said, as in when you have a twin? So it was cool to pass it back and forth because we were sort of having conversations that were only happening in the book. All right, so I drew the sippy cup just because she was inspiring me to try out a little more realism than cartooniness at the time. And then I think I also put Santa in there. And then she drew the cookie. I don't know what that is. Just a couple of watercolor washes. This is glued in. And she says, I see a sleeping naked fat shiny Buddha with a giant nose wearing a yarmulke. No, that's, wow, I don't know why I can't tell her writing from mine. That's what I said. No. Yes. And she says, I see a little naked kid in the tub. She stuck this in there. Safety in school, swings and teeters. Rules for swings, rules for teeters. Sue's rules for swings and teeters. And then she wrote, no one liked Sue because of all Sue's rules, I'm assuming. And I said, especially because she called them teeters, because that just is uncomfortable, awkward. All right. I guess this is one of Sue's rules, a dangerous practice. And then one of us drew a tree, probably me, and then she made it better in these little windows. And then that's someone disliking Sue's rules again. And I wrote, girl, please. Who doesn't like to stand on a swing? That's childhood right there. And this is Liz's awesome personality. I wish you could see it a little better, but like, it's just the most light watercolor study ever. And she says every grandma at the beach ever with her hands on the hips. I love it. Like, I could see myself at the beach with my eyes, with everything being so washed out by the sun, that this is exactly what you see. I love it. Got the little kids over here on the horizon. I think that's me at the beach too, with my hands on the hips. She painted this, and then it looks like one of her kids drew in the eyeball. Not sure if gouache is my thing yet. And I wrote back, it is, because she does such a good job with everything. Max, Sunday, that's her son, Max, one of his drawings. And then we just drew some people with faces. These are all her people, and these are my people over here. And they're just hanging out in a crowd. And we didn't like assign anything to each other. We just sort of played off of what each other were doing on the pages. Oh my God, that's Junie. She is the cutest thing ever. This is her second daughter. So Maddie was born at the same time as my Nayeli, and then Junie was born a year and a half later. And I wrote, Nayeli says, because Nayeli saw this picture and she said, she's cute, I know her name. What are you drawing? Oh, it's a cloud. Sigh. So I was just writing down what she said as she was talking, because it was interesting to record. What are you drawing? Oh, it's a cloud. Sigh. I'm not full. I want fudge too. Pretends to eat imaginary fudge. Just kidding. I'm not done with my food. I'm done with my food. I'm not really done. There is not a crust. I want you to... This arm and this arm are tired, and that means you have to feed me. Whoa, that's a lot. Did you write that just now? What? More? Are you doing more? What? It's fun to write down what your 3-year-old says while you're writing when the 3-year-old can't read it. That's pretty cute to think back to when she just sort of rambled on like that. Laugh, laugh. And it's covered up with a diagram of something. Inches. I don't know what that is. There's another little clip from this book about Sue's rules and some windows and stuff. I'm pretty sure Liz drew that, but I probably had something to do with those windows and washes. Excuse me. I definitely did the spirographs, and then she drew a nose on it. So just think, with all of this stuff, like, we're drawing on each other's drawings, and it was awesome. Liam definitely drew both of these. And then it is written, Nayeli says, oh, he did a great job, didn't he? Nayeli. She didn't want Prince Charming to rescue her. She wanted to run away with Jack Sparrow for a life of adventure. I think I came back and wrote that after someone else drew that, and I drew that. All right. So Liz put this picture in there and drew this face, and she said, oh, no. And I wrote, who dat? And she wrote, an old troublemaker. And so then I wrote, one of my students looked like he was about to cry when he received his book this week because he didn't feel his pen pal was a good fit. He begged to switch. It had nothing to do with the ability, but their obvious interest in metal music, while my student is into mountain biking and 90s hip hop. He had no consideration of the fact that he was absent all week on a ski trip and left your student with almost nothing. I had to bite my tongue to keep from calling him a snob to his face. Yeah, so that kid ended up actually, I had to take the book away from him because he ended up starting to scribble on the other girl's art. For the most part, overwhelmingly, 30, 40 kids at each school trading, everyone was really conscientious. But this one boy, who I feel like just had a lot of entitlement and better than thou attitude, ruined it for this other girl, and I was just really embarrassed. But we took care of it. He just got a 0 and didn't get to play anymore. This is a picture from Chuck E. Cheese that, this is Liz's husband, Vic, and I think that's Maddie's head. And like, so the picture was cut off like this, and so I added that, and Liz says, "This made Vic laugh out loud," and I said, "Yay." Someone voted. She drew that, I drew that. And then I said, "My people want to be as cute as your people, but they are always underachievers." That mouth? And she said, "I kind of just want this hair." And I said, "No, I love your hair." Oops, we skipped some pages accidentally. Spirographs are fun. And then I did that, and she did the little mice inside. And that's definitely a sticker from my son. And I wrote, but on a more positive note, I had several students quickly flip through their books and with giant smiles on their sweet, sweet faces say, "Oh, I love them so much already," and hug the book so tightly to their chest. I swear at least 2 students did the same thing, and one was a boy. My kids are so excited and quite impressed with what some of your students came up with. I can't wait to see how this progresses. And Courtney loves coffee. Yes, she does. And there's more spirographs. That's my page. And I definitely drew those blocks too. And then she drew the cute little dinos trying to get to each other. And she says, "Dino is worried." More spirographs. And then she made that one into an alien. And I think I put the baby in the belly, maybe. I don't even remember who did what on that page. I drew that, again, from the Sketchy app that she told me about. Liz is the one that told me about the Sketchy app. Numbers. So I don't even know what that is. Doesn't matter. Oh, so Liz is so good at animals. So that's one of her animals. She says, "I'm ferocious when I'm well rested." And I say, rodent teeth are what nightmares are made of. I drew that, and then she drew these little guys looking in the window at him. Again, reference from the Sketchy app. Children's scribbles. Sketchy app, me. And that's her writing, "I'm very tired," so I'm assuming she also drew that. Even can't, this is funny. So I drew that from the Sketchy app, and then she came back and said, "Even Kevin Bacon can have a bad day." And it was funny. I said, "This made me laugh out loud." Because that was not Kevin Bacon, but it totally looks like Kevin Bacon having a bad day. Lol. She drew the tape, mixtape, and then, I don't know, I tend to get really messy. And that probably frustrated her, that I am a messy person. And that page just became a mess, didn't it? Sorry, Liz. And then these holes were fun. Cat. Person. So the holes get progressively smaller. She was into drawing lollipops at the time, cute lollipops. And she did that too, I believe. And then I put that on there because I found these. It looks like what do you call the Rolodex thing you put up to your face, and you clicked and it turned and there were pictures, and it was like 3D because you were looking at 2 different, this is like one of those, but not. It has negatives on it. Yeah. Oh, stuff. can't tell. No, I guess that's glued together. One of my Rorschach things. This garden sculpture thing is really stressing me out, I say, because I can't figure out what to do. Clay, she says, that's what y'all are doing. I'm out of supplies. Glass, danger. Metal, how, with what? And then she says, in search of, I looked something bullet journaling. I'm gonna try that, thanks. Maybe, no, I wrote this. Maybe I can avoid these Sunday afternoon anxiety episodes. Because she was trying bullet journaling and then I tried it. You'll see my bullet journal and the visual journal that went along with that very soon. I think that was the coming year because Liz inspired me to try that. Everything on Pinterest is too pricey or too crafty, I believe. I can't tell who wrote what. So we were both talking about this garden sculpture assignment that we had to do with our students for a local organization. It's hard to come up with stuff for whole classes to do that can withstand outdoor weather. It's expensive. So we don't do that anymore, thank gosh. Yeah, stuff. See, look at that. She's so good. She just painted her faucet and it's fabulous. And she drew that. And she says, I'm becoming obsessed with cheap pens. I think I drew that, she drew that. I don't know. Yeah. Birdie. Do you guys remember when Bernie Sanders had the rally and the bird landed on his podium? It was so sweet. And there is a bird and an eyeball, which is really weird, which makes it a mask. And so one of us drew a person wearing it. I want to fly, it says. She definitely drew that. She said, my kids are sending your kids collaborative treats to do with what they will. So she drew that, and then I drew the rest. And yeah, so each one of my students received a book that had a piece of candy on a page, and then my kids were supposed to do something. I remember this specifically. This was me expressing my stress. I listed all the stuff that I had to do in the spring. Spring is crazy. I said, I'm a very bad professional juggler. Gate duty, golf tournament, movie night, senior play set, all-night cast party, repaint exterior signs, barefoot and bear, family of man Sandberg project, recertification for school, stack committee, steering committee, all-night graduation party, arts council exhibits, scholastics, permanent daily morning duty outside, PLC meetings, ASW meetings, staff development meetings, faculty meetings, IEP meetings, PEP meetings, survey with feedback forms, sculpture garden for advocacy for the arts. And I drew myself juggling and dropping balls. And she said, this is all too much. And I agree. Some of this has not. And she said, but you've got balls. And I said, yes, I do. And I think I drew that. And then yeah, she might have embellished it with the highlights and shadows, or I might have, I don't remember. And that's awful ugly. And she wrote, or I wrote, hi, my name is Anxiety. She wrote that. And I can't art. No, I wrote that. And she says, anxiety can suck it. I feel like I should count how many times I say, no, I wrote that. No, she wrote that. And I feel like I drew that, and then she put a bird cage in the soul. Do you know that song? Who can hear me in the loving by the light switch? Who watches over you? Good little birdhouse in your soul. Not to put too fine a fine on it. Say I'm only bee in your bonnet. Make a little birdhouse in your soul. But they might be giants. You know. And I definitely drew the ballerina. And she says, I love this. Mary Poppins meets Edward Gorey texture study. We were doing Mary Poppins for the senior play this year, and we were doing like a black and white set with lots of cross hatching, so this was my study, and then she drew those things. And more children's scribbles. And she drew this cute little bear, and we had a conversation. And it says, but now at least my students are just stealing my cheap pens. I bought all the pen colors. What brand? And are they water soluble? Pentel RSVP crappy pens and ballpoint. It's fun to have random conversations through Pen Pal Sketchbook, right? This is another study I did of like a cityscape with the cross hatching, but then it was on vellum that I glued on here, and when I glued it on here, it got smeary. There's lots of layers going on here. It says Max drew this. Some more people I did. She drew that plant. Gets a little lean here at the end. She says, in all my old journals, I had this weird little guy illustrate all of my emotions, like the original emoji. She was doing emojis before emojis were a thing. And I said, yes. I don't know why I said yes, but I mean, they're cute. So, yeah. And this is me drawing some of my students. So we must have been doing life drawing at this point because there's a lot of reference of life drawing. Yeah. This girl graduated last year, and this is one of my favorite students that is about to graduate this year. I'm gonna miss her so much. Oh, looks like we petered out, didn't fill the book. Oh, there's a tree. And some random stuff that always gets stuck in the end pages. I'm a teacher, what's your superpower? Coyote Kitchen, local restaurant. This says, versatility is one of your outstanding traits. The end. It's fun to trade with a friend. If you have an artist friend in your area, you should think about doing it. This is a really fun activity. So I hope you enjoyed this week's Visual Journal Friday Tiny Tradable edition with my friend Liz. Come back in a couple of weeks for our next installment of Visual Journal Friday. Woo! Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe. Click the bell icon in order to get more notifications. And don't forget to check out my paintings and my merch like this shirt on seahulshart.com. Bye. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Did you know I have an Instagram? I do. I update it daily. Lots of new posts on what I'm working on. New ideas and my most current projects. You can keep track of what I'm up to on there. So go and follow me. Check it out.